I think one of the important things that I'm realising now is that there's a certain lack of visibility, for sure, and perhaps that's with the frustration of opportunities. My question really is based around, do you think there has been enough work done at the Scottish Parliament in regards to race in the last 20 years? And really focusing in on not just the work that's been done, but do you really feel that the opportunities have been there? And if not, what's really frustrated that? Can I start with Farah, please?
I think Scottish Parliament has always got the opportunity, whenever we're talking about equalities, is to take an intersectional approach. The question is, if the Parliament does that, that's down to yourselves to look into. In terms of using that, there is a lot more that could have been done in the past as well. That is within the remit of the Scottish Parliament that we can learn from. The role within the Parliament again is to hold accountability. So again, going back to one of the main themes that we've had during this session is about accountability. So there's definitely that. Even like chamber debates, for example, as parliamentarians, as representatives of your constituencies, how often or how many MSPs, for example, actually go and engage directly with their ethnic minority communities, for example, because there is that historic mistrust. A lot of actions can be misconstrued or are then, tokenistic. The intention may be there, but to embed race equality or, talk about things, but then you've got to understand that tokenism is there, and then that is, again, really quite off-putting. Why is this approach being taken? We live in the age of the internet. It's not too hard to do research. It's not hard to get data and information now. So it is within the remit of staff members, again, parliamentarians, your office staff as well. When dealing with constituents, for example, it's your office staff that is going to be dealing with people day in and day out, more so than yourselves. You are there to represent them. So, what attitudes is it that they hold and that they give, and what stereotype and bias do they give out? For example, these are things that are very tangible aspects that you can do within the Parliament. I know that there is a network within the Scottish Parliament as well. I can't remember what it is, but it is one of the BME networks. And again, to what degree is that going to be tokenistic as well? So I think there is a lot of need to understand when we talk about white allyship and fragility and privilege, is to kind of really acknowledge that, verbally acknowledge that, because if you start verbally acknowledging these things, recognising them and calling them out, if there is racial gaslighting going on, it's very obvious when we see things happening down in the UK Parliament, but how often do we reflect upon ourselves nationally? And if there's a piece of legislation that's gone through, for example, is an intersectional approach taken to it? When we talk about education, for example, does anti-racism come into it? I don't think until Black Lives Matter, it hasn't, whereas we know it's an area that has been researched for the past 20 years at least anyway. And hopefully, with the work of this, the committee, again, we'll focus more on the implementation and accountability. As Jatin had said, a lot of actions are there, the activities are there, and I think it's about this Parliament and this committee using its remit and its powers to hold people to account specifically, and not being scared of being specific, basically, and empower yourselves to take forward race equality, because it can